So in IELTS Speaking Part 1, you have a very high chance of being asked about your work or studies. So just a little tip here, guys, when the examiner says, do you work or are you a student? That is not an actual full-on question, okay? That is only so the examiner can decide to ask you about work or ask you about your studies. So when the examiner says that, do you work or are you a student? Just give like a one-sentence answer, super short, so then the examiner can ask you the real questions after that. So I'm going to demonstrate today how to answer this group of very, very common IELTS questions. So the examiner says, do you work or are you a student? I would say, I work, actually. I work a lot. So that's my answer. And then the examiner goes on to say, what kind of work do you do? Well, I have a lot of jobs, actually. Most of my jobs involve teaching online and producing ESL materials. So I have lots of varied tasks, from making podcasts to doing YouTube videos to creating amazing online courses. So in your Part 1 answers, you guys, you should aim for 3 to 5 sentences in your answers, and always make sure to use complete sentences. You're not talking to your friend. This is not a real world conversation. It is an exam, all right? So you still have to meet those exam requirements, all right? So always complete sentences, but again, not too many, not too long. The examiner has a lot of questions to get through in Speaking Part 1, and she or he, it's his or her job to ask you a certain number of questions. So don't make them interrupt you. 3 to 5 sentences. All right, next question. Why did you choose this kind of work? Well, to be honest, I sort of happened upon it. I didn't grow up thinking like, oh, I can't wait to teach IELTS online. That wasn't my life's dream. But when I was about 22, I decided to start teaching English because I thought that's how I could travel. And then I discovered that this was actually my passion in life. So I got my master's in applied linguistics, and then the rest is history. And then the last question of this group, what would you change about your job? Geez, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change a thing. I love my job. I love that I get to be creative, and I love that I get to produce materials that have tangible effects in the world when I hear from my students. And so I'm creative, and I'm actually making a difference in what little way I can. Okay, so watch this video a couple times, you guys, and please take notes on any interesting vocabulary or idioms that I use. How many sentences do I use? What sort of transition phrases am I employing, especially in the introduction and conclusion parts of my answer? So watch this video a couple times, take notes, and then practice your own answers to these same questions. Okay, if you want more strategies and to find out exactly what the examiner needs to hear on test day, go to allearsenglish.com/KEYS and get into the 3 Keys IELTS Success System today.